Jinshi 様。
Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to another reaction video of Apothecary Diaries, episode 20, and I'm about to have a spiral. Thank you for clicking on this video. I suggest you tuck in, because I'm about to talk about a lot of stuff. Yesterday, I was sitting with my thoughts, I was editing, and I had several revelations, and then I was talking in my community in Discord, and then I had even more revelations. It made me want to go back and watch certain moments within certain episodes. I wanted to piece together some things and come up with some theories before I continued, because there's so much going on in the show, and sometimes I get distracted simply by my obsession over Jinshi and Mao Mao, or one mystery that is currently being solved. Sometimes you forget or you miss certain clues that are just dropped all over the place. It was really nice to just sit down and give literally several hours of my day yesterday to Apothecary Diaries, just sort of trying to understand the family lines. And I missed some certain things, some reveals, simply because there is so much happening. Here begins the spiral, right? Mao Mao was like, okay, maybe the white masks represent the white fox, the fox god that this village worships, and that also represents the Western ancestors that came to the village who had the color blindness, and it's passed down through the generations. Suirei and Shisui and their father, potentially their mother as well, Sheimei, colorblindness. I think that they are ancestors of the people who came from the West and represent the foxes, right? And Mao Mao said, okay, maybe the white mask represents the white fox. And then when you draw on it, it represents intermarriage and mixing with other cultures. Then it made me think of white. Okay, white fox. Yes, in the last episode, Jinshi mentioned ladies in waiting. They did their makeup to look like foxes. I did catch that. But also it made me think of the poisoned makeup powder that was handed out to the concubines in season 1, episode 1, to make your face white. Mao Mao brought it up several episodes ago when she was thinking about the clinic, the woman at the clinic, and everything that she might be connected with. And we met Sheimei, Lady Sheimei, in the last episode. Terrifying. Guys, Mao Mao is basically in the den of the enemy. She is in the fox's den. She is in trouble. This is bad. So she had a lot of makeup on, white. So that got me spiraling into that direction, because I think they're obviously responsible for that. They're responsible for everything that has happened. The Westerners that brought the knowledge to this village. Then with all the color blindness and how it is more typical in the men, very rare in the women. And it's just so specific that it's like, it's their family. Then it made me think of the Mother Royal. That whole episode with the doors and the color blindness. The Mother Royal, white foxes, adding in the green and the red, intermarriage, the color blindness, the fact that this whole family is also colorblind, okay? So that was my first point where I was just like, holy shit, wait. That was my first point of panic. And then I had to dive deeper, because you guys know me. It makes me think of the quote from the shrine, child of royalty, yet not child of the Mother Royal, which means, yes, you are of royal blood, but you are not part of the fucking Fox clan, the Westerners that came and mixed. The Mother Royal traveled and married the leader of the land, who is now just written out of history. And they created this whole shrine process to make sure that they kept the blood in the royal family, because yes, it's passed down by men, but the blood is maternal. Also, it's known that many of the past emperors did not have the best eyesight, but the previous emperor could see clearly, and the current emperor can see clearly as well. And he did the test. He is not child of the Mother Royal, and neither is Jinshi. It also just made me think of, okay, the previous emperor and then his mother, who are his parents. So it made me go even back further and made me think about all of his older brothers and how all of his older brothers died from an epidemic. And that's why he was the one, even though he was not fit to be emperor, was the emperor. All of his other brothers just died. And I was like, okay, who were their moms? Apparently, it said in an episode that I found that the mother who gave birth to all the princes, they were sisters. I think that the late emperor, his mother, it said she was a lady in waiting that became a concubine. I think that she had the blood of the mother royal, the foxes from the west. I think she was potentially brought through the shrine and helped the last emperor through, because it said she was a concubine, a lady in waiting that became a concubine, and then suddenly you're with the emperor and you're giving birth to his children, and you produce the next all these princes, and you produce the next emperor. I'm pretty sure that she got into that position potentially. This is me theorizing. Potentially she was a fox, and it is also stated that the trait of the color blindness does not necessarily pass down, but it makes me think about his older brothers and how they probably did have the color blindness, but they all died. He was the only one left. I think that one of the reasons potentially that they are so upset, the foxes are upset, is because they aren't involved. We don't have any of the concubines around the emperor. The emperor doesn't have any of the mother royal's blood, and I think they're upset about the line and having control. And then I went deeper. I went further, guys, because this is how the mother royal used to choose the king. This is how they wanted to make sure that their bloodline kept intact. Then I looked into the Empress Dowager. I went back to those episodes, briefly skimmed over some sections, and connected more dots. That it just all makes sense to me now. And I'm so glad that I had the time to sit down and do this, or else I feel like whatever's coming next won't mean as much to me because I wouldn't have had the time to properly process all of this chaos. So look, when we learned about the Empress Dowager and how she gave birth at such a young age, we got that story that I thought was maybe an example of what her life could have been if she didn't have a son, right? There was another girl who was around her age that claimed that she had a daughter with the late emperor. He denied it because it was a girl, although he probably did assault that girl. Just thinking about the deflowered grave that we learned about and how they weren't allowed to leave the rear palace and they basically died there. It was a horrific thing to think about. But her daughter, that girl, that was touched on in episode 18, which is probably one of my favorites so far, the one where it's just like all Jinshi and his crash out and how he was searching for Mao Mao and kind of connecting the dots. There was so much that was revealed in that episode. And it was mentioned that girl that had a daughter, and that daughter was exiled with a doctor. And then that girl was forced to live out her days there, and no one ever really knew what happened. Well, so Suirei was the girl that was born, and her mother's name, that was the gravestone that she was praying at before she left. She was paying her respects to her mom, Taiho. She died last year. She was the one that used to do the ghost stories. It seems like she's still haunting the place. But she was the lady in waiting to concubine Shaimei, who we just saw in the last episode, who is married. She was given off, she was later given, checking my notes, to Shisui. I hope all these names are so similar. I'm doing my best. A lot of she's. And they had the daughter, Laolin, aka Shisui. The concubine, Lady Shaimei, that the horrifying woman that we met in the last episode, she was given to Shisui. And that's also why Suirei does not look like them. And I didn't connect this in the last episode either for some reason, because I just needed to sit down and visualize what all of these family lines look like because it's so ridiculous. But this means if The late emperor had a girl with this lady in waiting. I think the doctor took the girl and maybe they went to the West. Maybe they went to the Foxes, and maybe that is where she grew up and was raised. She's so smart. So of course she grew up with a doctor and now she's completely entangled in all of that. I think it's all of these thoughts of revenge, these thoughts of I was exiled. The emperor is actually my brother, and like seeking revenge on her dead mother, and everything that the late emperor did, even though he's gone, like what Jinshi was saying in the last episode, it still lingers. What he did generations later, it still lingers, and people have hatred and want to take down the rear palace, even if the late emperor is no more. Not just the rear palace, they want to take over, they want to take down the emperor, they want to just destroy it, they want to see it burn. Also, side note here, thank you in the comments so much for reminding me that Locken did adopt his nephew, Mao Mao's cousin. It was mentioned very casually, I think in season 1, that he ended up adopting a nephew so that he could have an heir to the Law name. It just is, all of this is also just making me really suspicious about everyone who has hair that looks exactly the same. Some names I think are similar, but maybe there's no relation. I'm not sure. I haven't even questioned Jinshi and who raised him, which was basically Gaoshin, who's a goat. But then also that woman who I've never gotten her name, so I had to go back. Suiren? God, why are all these names so similar? So I don't know where she comes from. I don't know what her story is about. We know nothing about her. So I'm not sure. I think her name is just similar, because honestly, if she was involved with all of this, that would be really, really bad. That'd be bad. I hope she's not. I hope she just has a similar name to the Foxes in this entire issue. You like how I'm calling them the Foxes? These Westerners. All these people with color blindness who are directly related to the frickin' Mother Royal. At least that is what I think right now. That's where I'm at the moment. The implications there, it's wild. I have questions about the convoys. Not really sure, I haven't spiraled with them yet. But another thing that I just need to throw in, because we're talking about how similar certain people look, and Jinshi had that moment in episode 18 where he realized how similar he really does look to the late emperor, which was just a horrible moment. The fact that he was like, do I look so much like him that that woman just tried to poison herself at the sight of me? That's traumatic in itself. He has been waltzing around the rear palace, which he put himself there, by the way, because I guess he thought he was not directly related, so he didn't want anything to do with the position of the crown prince, because maybe he was having imposter syndrome, or maybe he was thinking like, oh well, I'm not a legitimate heir. I don't look anything like any of my relatives, any of my family members. For some reason, no one told him that he looked like the emperor. Even the Empress Dowager didn't say anything. He's been walking around parading as Jinshi and flirting with all of the girls and being super charismatic and charming. What a terrifying thing if you were one of these older ladies or someone working in the clinic and you had been abused by the late emperor, and then to see that, I mean, that's so traumatizing. I felt bad for Jinshi in that moment to realize that, but I love that he thought of Lauman and Mao Mao and about like, okay, you can only do what you can, focus on what you can control right now. Think about that later. Think about how silly I've been later. Focus on this. I've been loving all of the time with Jinshi and all of this chaos. Also because Shisu was so close to the late emperor. We also saw in that flashback with the lady dowager when she was younger that they were talking about how he wanted to expand. And I think that's when that secret passageway was created, and that's why they know about it and no one else does. I think that he fit that in or built that in somehow all the way back then, because he recommended to the late emperor to expand the palace, and they did. And I guess there was some things he kept quiet to himself. And another thing I have not questioned that I'm gonna bring up before we dive in, I'm almost done, guys, and I hope you've been enjoying this, because yeah, I had a massive spiral and there's just so much information. I can't wait to read your guys' comments and see what you think. But also, I have not even questioned, now that all of this is being shown to us. Oh, what amazing writing, by the way. I can't say her name, or I don't know, it feels weird to say, but that concubine that looks exactly like Jinshi, Aduo. If Jinshi looks exactly like the late emperor, and she looks exactly like Jinshi, why do they all look the same? Where did she come from? Who were her parents? Why does she look like that? She looks so much like Jinshi that she is pretending to be him at a very high level. She's going to official meetings. So who were her parents? Where did she come from? I don't have the brain power to think about that right now because of everything I just realized with the Fox Village, the Westerners, the Mother Royal, and how entangled this whole family actually is. And I don't know how much Shiso is involved, but I think that Lady Shaymay is wearing the pants in all of this. The way that she walked in at the end of the last episode. We just found the person, the people, and the place that has been causing all of the issues since season 1, episode 1, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99.9% sure. The powder, all of the poison, the scented oils, everything that came from the caravan, everything has been planned. They're trying to manipulate the situation. There's so many different things that they've been trying to do. They've tried to assassinate Jinshi twice using several people over here. While that's happening, they put Shisui in as a concubine named Laolan, and also embedded their father right in the rear palace with her to try and get close to the emperor in that way, while they've been trying to assassinate the younger brother over here. And then meanwhile, the woman at the clinic and the people coming in the caravan are bringing poison and things to make sure that all of these concubines die or their children die. So I think it's time to fight back. I think that Jinshi needs to rally. We need to talk with Lock-in. We need to get the army. Something big needs to happen, or maybe it's about to happen towards the end of this season. I think the emperor needs to be told. This is huge. Oh my god. I think that's everything I want to say. But yeah, I had a minute. I had a big spiral the other day, and I could not wait to sit down and talk to all of you about this. Thank you guys so much for keeping the comments spoil free so that I could figure this all out myself. Also correct me on certain things when I'm wrong from things that have been mentioned, like Lock-in and his adopted son. He is from the family bloodline, and that's why he looks so much like Lock-in. I'm looking forward to getting to know that character more. But yeah, this is why the grain and the iron has increased in price. It's because of everything that they're doing over there. They're preparing for war. They are manufacturing all of these guns. They are getting ready to wipe them out. So I'm freaking out. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I wanted to get that out before I continued, because then this will be really fun. Now I can see, am I right? Was I going down the right train of thought? Is Sui-Rei really the emperor's sister? And does that mean also related to Jinshi? I guess that doesn't make sense, because we still, jury's out on Jinshi still. Oh, I think. And with Adu and everything. I don't know. We need answers on that. But I think she might be related to the emperor, which would explain her hair and why she looks the way she looks. I just still can't believe the connection that I made with the color blindness and the Fox Village, their family, and the Mother Royal. I can't believe that. So it makes a lot of sense now where all of the anger is coming from and why they are trying so hard to get in there, to take them out, to kind of make sure that the bloodline continues and all of that stuff. So yeah, let's head in to this next episode of Apothecary Diaries. Thank you so much for listening to that. But you know what? I think it's worth it. I think it's worth spending the time and talking about this stuff. I struggled with that with some of the shows I've watched in the past, wondering how much should I sit here and talk to you guys? Should I make another video about it? No, I just want to keep it in one package. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this spiral. And let's go, guys. Without further ado, it is Apothecary Diaries episode 20. Let's go. God, she's terrifying. Oh my God. Oh. The Honorable Shiro's son. Who the fuck is that? Wait. No, I don't have that she down. I don't. Okay. Oh. Lowland. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Over 30 years old? Is she lying to save her? Like the man before? The doctor? Okay, this is really intense. Is that Shisui protecting Mao Mao? Our stronghold. Is Shisui? Yeah, is she? She's playing a character right now. She's so opposite from her bubbly self. What an actress. Wow. Yeah. Unbelievable. Because she's so different as Laolin. So much more mature. So is this why Mao Mao was brought here? Half sister. Okay. Wait. So that is her father. She isn't actually related to the emperor? Or do they not know about that scandal? My father, Shiso, is originally from one of the Shi clan offshoot families. The main family. Oh! She was returned later as a gift. Oh! Oh! So they were already together. Then she was taken as a concubine. Then she returned as a gift. And he had a child with another girl? So this is either a lie because they don't know the truth, or what I just said was wrong. Maybe she doesn't know who her real parents are.
元は私の名前だ。
ローランはその名前を気に入っているようですね。下女として偽名を使うなら、もっと違う名を選べばよかった。
Oh, that was her original name. So she's using
そう
that.
いう子な。
花よと育てられ、帝の花として献上される。
Yeah.
そしてもう一方は、官女として皇宮に送り込まれ、暗躍する。
Wow.
倉庫の爆発の混乱に乗じて、
Yes.
細具を盗み、発覚したら死人をって逃走した。
Yes.
師匠が黒幕だったのだろう。高級管理者のjinshi様。師匠のやり方に反するよう、ローランが価値があるといったかんざし。ただの勘ではない。いや、宦官ですらなかった。ど
Uh-huh.
うした？に入った時、どうやって調べられましたか？
何をいきなり。
She's like, that's the last thing I want to talk about.
虚勢していない
By
男が
touch.
3
Yikes.
人の官に触手。
帝に近しい男子は王帝しかいない。いや、その可能性も考えたが、年齢が違う。けれど、時折見せる幼い振る舞いが。
It's always harder for me to focus when Jinshi's on the screen.
そういえば、狩りの時に何か大事な話を
Yes!
しようとしていた気が。
Mau Mau.
こうは人を狂わせる。なんと恐ろしい。
ど
Uh-huh.
うした？
よし、この件はひとまず置いておこう。現状を把握するのが先だ。
She does that every time, but she basically just figured it out. She's just trying to keep herself safe. She's gaslighting the absolute hell out of herself constantly. But she just pieced it together, you guys.
堅牢な城壁に囲まれ、背後には崖。
How are we gonna get her out of here?
なぜシェンメイはこんなところに。ガオシュン様は特使が宿舎から抜け出して何者かと取引していると疑っていられていた裁縫の最新の武器フェイファ。あなたたちは戦を起こす気ですか？
それは私が決めることではない。
Oh my god.
無事は持ってくる。くれぐれもシェンメイ様のご機嫌を損ねないように。
Yeah, I wouldn't want to anger her. Oh my god.
戦か薬を試していて死んだようだけど。前の羊が残した宝の山。
Time to read and learn. Time to have some fun. Oh my god. Yeah, she's fine.
ここは北部の四北州だとして高級から船で10日。それから歩いて温泉郷に向かい、さらに馬車に乗る。がある場所はこんなことならちゃんと勉強しておくのか。
Yeah, to be able to visualize where you actually might be. Is that the boy?
もし死の一族が謀反を起こしたとなれば、
Yeah.
一族老とその罪を負わされるだろう。それは女、子供でも赤子でも。どことだと割り切ってしまえばいいのに。
Oh my gosh.
母が笑っている。
I heard that. That was terrifying.
父に憤っている。ここは一緒に怒るところ。母が折檻している。ここは傍観するところ。お母様が笑えば笑い、嘆くときは嘆く。私が人形でいればお母様は怒らない。
Oh
こ
god.
れ以上醜くならない。
汚らわしい。お前もあの女も生まれるべきではなかったのよ。
私は間違えていたままでいてもお母様を止めることはできない。
Oh. Hold on. She said, filth. You and that woman too. Is she talking about Mau Mau? Someone else.
私は間違えていた。ああ、無駄だな。
Oh no.
そう気づいた時には
Mm.
もう何もかも遅かった。
So beautiful.
失礼します。邪香の香り。
What's happening? Oh. Oh, we having fun.
不老の薬はまだかしら。
もう少しかかり。ここだとまるで主従だな。 いつもは仲のいい姉妹なのに。
明日は何か成果を出しなさい。
はい。
By tomorrow. The way she speaks is really scary.
何でしょうか。
Hold on. What era? Like, what age, you guys? This might sound crazy, but in my spiral, I remember in the shrine episode with the doors, it was mentioned that Lauman visited. Didn't he travel there? He traveled there and lived there in the West for a bit or something. Could he have been the... No, maybe the time doesn't add up because I don't know how long she has been without an apothecary, but the fact that Mao Mao is complimenting and saying, wow, it's a really good apothecary. Her father is so good. For some reason, it just made, or her adopted father, it makes me think about Lauman for some reason. And I do remember it was mentioned briefly once that he traveled there to the West. And that is why he knew about the color blindness, because I remember that older man that runs the shrine said to Mao Mao, your father would have been able to figure it out. Maybe he was there before he then arrived at the rear palace. I don't know if that works, the time. And that's a long time for her to not have an apothecary. My second guess would be the doctor. If what I was talking about earlier and what Jinshi was also theorizing about, if that is correct about the doctor and the girl that was exiled from the palace, it could be them. Like, that could be her father. And she doesn't know it. Maybe her father was the doctor, the apothecary.
本当か？俺の母様がいるはずなんだけど、元気そうだった？
What?
母親があの中に。
Oh, what?
母親に会わせないためか。
Mm-hmm.
もしくは母親自身が。では私はこれで。
Oh my god, there's
おい、
a lot of weird things happening. Oh. Oh.
なんでもない。
Oh.
師匠が治める北方の砦が拡張されている。
Is expanding.
元は放棄された砦についての届けは出されていません。
つまり謀反。
Rebellion. Oh!
たとえ死の一族が王母の
Since the era of the Mother Royal, the Shi clan has sworn fealty.
死の一族が王母の時代からいて、師匠が女帝の長身であったとしても許されることではありません。
それなりに準備を整えているかと。
Oh no.
早々に対処を。
何をやっているのだね、ラーハン。
Oh.
父上。
軍師殿。
Hi, Lockin.
そうそう尊き方のだでさえ、男とも女ともわからないお方なのだから。
何を。
Whoa.
しかし父上。
ガーシュ様。軍師殿の娘かわいさを思えば来るのが遅かった。抜け穴のこと。
Uh-huh.
消えた宦官のこれの責任だ。
高級の外にも内にも入れるどなたかがいたにもかかわらず、我が娘がさらわれた。そしてそのお方、どこまで分かっていて何をしているのかと言っているんです。
軍師殿はお見通
He
しな
knows
のだ。
everything.
本来の自分の立場に自信を持つことができず、
Oh, shit.
そこから逃げ出して。
半端な宦官野郎のままで何ができるというんです。
Oh my god, he's being called out.
悪かったね。
Oh,
おじき。
what are you doing? Why are you apologizing?
しかもまともに歩けないし、今だって贅沢にもカゴに乗せてもらってきたよ。今回の件はマオマオをちゃんと見ていなかった私にも責任があるからね。
What?
そんな
What are you doing right
おじきのことは
now?
責めてないよ。
間に合った。
お前は頭に来るとすぐ攻撃的にな。さっきのは海言葉に買い言葉で、あんなこと言うつもりはこれっぽっちもなかったんだ。
いや、何の言葉も売っていないが。
ある前にちゃんと礼をもって伝えるべきことがあるんじゃないかね。
This episode right now. What is with this lighting change? Is he gonna... Oh my god.
約束、師匠を討つべく軍を動かしていただきたいと。
Oh my god. He's officially requesting.
証拠は揃っています。
Yeah.
海は早めに出し切るべきです。
Yep.
宦官人士に対する礼ではない。国に対する反逆。そしてそれを指揮するのは大尉羅漢ではなく。
いつまでかりそめの姿を
Yes!
続けるつもりですか、因子様。
Yes! Oh my god. Oh, yes, say it, say
月
it.
の君。
Moon Prince. He said Moon Prince? No fucking way. This happened to be today! Ah! Yeah, because he is pleading to the Crown Prince, not to Jinshi, but to the Prince.
時が来たようだ。
I have chills and I want to cry. Wow. That was so powerful. One of my favorite moments. This was everything. This was so incredible. Lockin storming in there, sitting down. What a terrifying man when he's angry. It is his daughter. Jinshi's not acting fast enough. It's been weeks, and they've just learned that they are reinforcing their stronghold, that all of this is connected, and that they have been several steps ahead this whole time. And how Jinshi was like, I knew that this day would come eventually. I guess it just happens to be today. It happens to be right now. Oh, this is so fucking good. First, he was, you know, letting out his frustrations on Jinshi. You're not doing enough. Do you care? You don't want to save one girl? Is that not enough? My daughter? Is it not important enough? What are you doing sitting in that fucking chair? Because I know who you actually are, and you're playing right now. It's a joke. Lockin was like, this right here, this facade, this character you're playing, this is a fucking joke. And he was getting really upset and saying a lot of things to the prince, to the Moon Prince. Oh my god, I love that he said it like that. But then Lauman comes in and almost saves face a bit, basically pretends, walks in and says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you felt that way about me. I'm the eunuch you're talking about, aren't you? Oh, apologies. Maybe, though, in order to get what you want, we should maybe do this differently. And I do appreciate that Jinshi was like, I understand your frustration, and I'll allow you to take that out on me right now. But I would like to remind you that I'm not the enemy. I think that Jinshi might disappear, and we might, I think, and I don't know, but maybe this is the end of him playing pretend. Maybe this is the end of him being Jinshi, the eunuch, watching over the garden. I think now this is gonna be a transition to the Crown Prince, the Moon Prince, Kazuigetsu, leading the Emperor's army. Oh my god! To defeat the traitor.
King.
This is so cool. The Forbidden Army directly under the Emperor would need to be mobilized. Oh my god. And is Jinshi going to be at the head of that? Oh, okay. This is about to be absolutely insane. And, you know, also, I don't say it enough, but incredible work with the VAs, especially. I love Jinshi's VA and some of the stuff that he's been doing the past couple episodes. He's incredible. That whole moment was so good. I cannot wait for the next episode. We are heading to war. It's happening. And I can't wait to see what this means for so many people, but mostly for that man right there. And I'm wondering if, yeah, like what I said, if this could potentially be the death of this pretend character, Jinshi. It's time to act. It's time to step into his role as the Moon Prince and rally the army and make sure that this all stops. Because, yeah, like what I was saying at the beginning of this episode during my huge rant and where I brought up all of these theories and I was trying to connect all of these threads, they have caused so many issues throughout this entire time, all of these years. And I think now they have enough proof where now they can act on it. But the scary thing is that they learned that they've been creating these these guns for years. And they're also preparing their stronghold. They are preparing for war. They've been preparing for war for years. And they've been so far behind. They do not have the upper hand here whatsoever. So they need to get on it and make sure that they're not taken out, that they're not all absolutely obliterated. So, oh my God, how is this season ending? This is so good. I'm already fearing the end of this season and like how long we're gonna have to wait for season 3. This is so amazing. I love this show so much. I cannot wait for the next episode. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and watching episode 20. Whoa. I feel like I've said so much in this episode. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, but this was absolutely incredible. God, this season is so good. But one of the reasons why it is so good is because of all of the buildup that has been happening in the story and the writing that has been occurring since episode 1 of season 1. So even if people say, oh yeah, season 2 is better than season 1, I think season 2 is all the payoff, basically. Everything has been building up towards this moment. And I think season 3 is going to be even better because maybe season 3 is going to be war. Oh my God. I can't believe this. We'll see how this season ends. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching Apothecary Diaries with me. It is absolutely one of my favorite shows I'm watching right now. I will see you guys very soon for the next reaction video. But until then, that's Flexi out. Please take care and have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.